Alright then everybody, the time that everybody has been waiting for, Banlist predictions. What do I think the next Banlist will look like? This may shock a couple of you guys, this may not shock a couple of you guys, but the YCS just concluded this weekend, and I think 22 out of the top 32 decks that made top cut were Tearlament Ishizu. So clearly there is an elephant in the room that we have to talk about, and I think Konami is thinking to themselves, like, we have to nuke something. Like, there will not be a slap on the wrist. I think this next ban list will be nuclear. Like, I think they're gonna chop a couple of knees, let's just put it like that, right? Like, they cannot say, oh, we're gonna ban Curious or something random like that. Oh, you know what, we're gonna ban I don't know, just something random, right? We're gonna ban Pot of Desires. We're gonna ban Pot of Desires. No, I think that Konami has to look at the top cut nowadays and say, okay, we are going to nuke something. Like, we cannot have like a soft ban list this time around. There's just no way that's gonna happen. So yeah, this is gonna be my ban list predictions. If you disagree with me, please do it in the comments below. I want to hear what your opinion is on this next upcoming ban list. But yeah, let's begin. So we're gonna start off with let's see right here. We're gonna start off with Gazelle. Salamangreat is doing absolutely nothing nowadays, right? There is no top cut. They never top. Even the best Salamangreat end board is breakable, and they have to open like absolutely perfect. Yeah, this deck is nowhere near as good as it was in the past, especially with all the meta decks nowadays doing what Salamangreat does, but better. So I think Salamangreat can safely come back to 3. If they want to test it out at 2, they can, but I think just bringing it back to 3 is a good choice, right? I think that will not change anything in the format, right? So yeah, I think Gazelle coming back to 3 will help out Salamangreat a lot. So another card that I want to see in the unlimited section will be Sekka's Light, right? I know Super Heavy Samurai is gonna get some support in the upcoming months. So I think they use Sekka's Light since they don't use any spells and trap cards. So I think bringing the Sekka's Light back to 3 will help them out a lot. Plus, let's think of the decks that run Sekka's Light. We're talking about Burning Abyss. We're talking about freaking Super Heavy Samurai. Like, Konami, are you really afraid of those decks? Like, what? Everybody else needs their spells and trap cards, but those decks that can actually run Sekka's Light, they need some support. Come on, like, it just doesn't make any sense. So I think Sekka's Light coming back to 3 will help them out a lot. It is Pot of Greed, but it means that you have to stick to no spells and trap cards for the remainder of the duel. So it makes sense to bring this back to 3. So another card that I want to see back to 3 will be Spiral Resort. I think that spirals are tier 200. Like, they are so bad, they are so bricky. I play this on Master Duel, and even on Master Duel where they have, like, they're almost at full power there, it still bricks. They're not even like the top deck there. So even though like most of their cards are unlimited, so I think bringing Spiral Resort to 3 will change nothing. This is not even a 1-card starter. You need this along another card, along maybe a couple of other cards, just to be able to make a decent board. Like, come on, what are you doing, Konami? Just bring this back to 3 Resort. I've been asking for this. I made multiple videos on Spiral, multiple videos on Master Duel, on TCG. This deck is not good. This deck is just not good anymore. Let's just give them a little bit of support, just a little bit of support. Another card that I want to see back to 3 is Spellbook of Judgment. I think this card didn't change anything when it came to the TCG. They literally changed nothing, right? Like, this deck is Brickfest. Like, your very best opening hand is like a Jawen, maybe a set card, but that's it. But yeah, good luck running into Droplet. Good luck running into Infinite Impermanence. Yeah, so yeah, there's multiple ways to answer Jawan, and this card coming back to 3, it's not really gonna change anything for spell books. This deck is literally the definition of old school. Like, Konami is having like PTSD from like when they were good back in the days, but come on, this is the now, and it's not good anymore. Let's just bring Spellbook of Judgment to 3. Let's see, another card that I want to see back to 3 is Recital Starling. I mean, sure, I may be a little bit biased on this. I play Lyreless Tri-Brigade, but even if this was a 3, I would just run 2. Like, it makes no sense to have this semi-limited, right? Like, Konami, if you bring this back to 3 tomorrow, the following day, I'ma stick to 2, right? It makes just no sense to run 3 of these. So, I think Konami will 100% bring this back to 3. There's like no reason not to. So, yeah, I think that concludes the unlimited section. For the semi-limits, I don't have any cards. I really don't have any cards that I think should go to semi-limited. I don't think the semi-limited section is a good place to put cards. Like, sure, Konami uses it like a testing grounds. It's sort of like where they test their bombs. They test like whatever they want to test, right? But I think only Destiny Hero Malicious belongs in there, and basically that's it. I don't think any other card belongs in there. But yeah, now we're gonna go to the limited section. So this is where things are gonna get a little bit more spicy, right? I think a couple of cards 100% belong here. So yeah, let's get started. So we're gonna go with Sprite Elf, right? The typical Sprite end board is like Toad plus Elf plus like either Smasher or the Trap card set. So and you can achieve that just with a single starter, but a lot of them, they use multiple elves throughout a turn. They use like 2, and the following turn, like turn 3, when it comes back to them, they use another elf. So I think this card is absolutely insane, being able to give you follow-up. If you revive something like a blue or a jet, gives you follow-up. Not just that, but you can revive stuff like Toad, or revive stuff like Red or Carrot, which gives you interruptions every single turn. This card is absolutely broken. I've seen multiple people that are like pros talk about how broken this card is. Being able to give you follow-up, not negating the effects, which means that you get like blue and jet every single turn. Yeah, this card, like, I think everybody can agree with me that this card is just not fair. Like, just by itself, it's splashable in Tier, Sprite. Any card that can run at level 2 that they need can run this card. Even you can run this on Tri-Brigade. I run this myself on Tri-Brigade. So yeah, this card belongs in the limited. I don't think Konami will ban it because it's very new, and if you ban this, you kind of kill Sprite, honestly. Like, you honestly kill Sprite, and I don't want Sprite to die. Don't get me wrong. Like, I know all the Sprite players are probably like angry at me. They're like grabbing onto their pillows. They're like punching air right now, but I don't want Sprite to die. I really don't want Sprite to die. I just want to like control them a little bit. I think this card is like one of the most unfair cards in their deck, and they're clearly the number 2 deck right now, either number 2 or number 3, right? Along with Flounderies, right? So I just think we just need to slow them down a bit. Just slow them down a bit. Alongside with Sprite Elf, I want to touch Starter. This card by itself gives you a full board. This into blue, then Jet, then you can just combo off, and then you get Smasher, the Trap card, then you make what you can pretty much end on whatever board you want to with a single starter. This is the consistency of the deck. This card is absolutely crazy. Like, honestly, like being like hand trapping them. Like, if they start with like Beaver or something, and then they have like blue and Jet, you hand trap them. You hand trap their gigantic. Now you're down like 2 or 3 cards, and then they're like starter, and then they can just keep going from there. Yeah, this card is crazy. Not only that, but if they draw like multiples, they can just set one during your turn, activate one, go into blue, grab some more follow-up. So this card is crazy. Just limiting it, I think, will be the correct touch. Now we're gonna go into the Man of the Hour, which is Masterpiece. I think Masterpiece can safely come back to 1. I know a lot of people back in the days when True Draco was like making everybody like pee their pants back in the days. True Draco, I mean Masterpiece was like the boss monster, right? Like everybody feared. It's like, I need to stop Masterpiece from coming down, otherwise I can't really out them. And sometimes Masterpiece, if you treat with the correct cards, whether it be monster, spell, or trap card, if you treat with the correct cards, you just win right there, because your opponent may not have an out to it. So, but with that being said, I think True Dracos are in a very bad spot. Like, they are not even rogue right now. They are just doing so bad right now. So giving them a little bit of help with Masterpiece will go a long way. And now that Mystic Mine is banned, you don't have to worry about like some crazy stun deck running this alongside with Mystic Mine. So I think Masterpiece at 1 will be a good place to start. And if it doesn't like kill the meta or anything, then we can bring it back to like 2 or 3 in the following Banlist. But I think just 2, I mean just limited for now, is the right way to go. So, and another one that I want to see would be Harpoor. I think Harpoor is in a good place to be right now. Now that Verte is banned, now that Mermaid is banned, I mean, like, Konami has hit this deck multiple times. I think Harpoor can safely come back. And you may be wondering, like, well, is it they gotta be run with tier limit? Perhaps, but I'm gonna get to tier limits. Okay, don't count me out just yet. Okay, I will get to tier limit in a little bit. Just wait a little bit. But Harpoor, let's just give every day. I go to Facebook or Discord and I see people saying like, Harpoor, come back. I don't see any other banned card getting as much support as Harpoor. Not any other banned card gets like as much hype as Harpoor to come back. Everybody wants this card to come back. I play this at Master Duel and it's not even one of the best decks, Orcust. So come on, Konami, just bring back Harpoor to 1. Give the Orcust players some toys to play with, and we'll see what we do from there. And if it doesn't kill the meta, same thing, we bring it back to 2 or 3 in the following ban list. But yeah, I think Harpoor can come back. And that will wrap up the limited section. So now I'm gonna go on to the ban cards. First one on the list will be Instant Fusion. Instant Fusion has been one of the cards that people talk about the most every single ban list. They're like, Konami's surely gonna ban Instant Fusion now. They're 100% gonna ban it, and they never do. But I think right now, like literally right now, will be the correct time to ban it, because triple tactic tasking, I believe that card is called, a new triple tactic talent, the one that searches you a normal spell card from the deck, can search Instant Fusion. So you're basically gonna have 4 copies of Instant Fusion, 3 tasking, 1 Instant Fusion. And I think this card is crazy. It doesn't negate the effect of the monster that comes out. It's absolutely broken. Being hand trapping tier limit players like 1, 2, 3, 4 times, interrupting them, doing everything you can to stop them, just for their last card to be Instant Fusion, and just comboing off from there is absolutely crazy. And now that will happen even more often now that tasking is gonna come out, because they're gonna have more options, right? So Instant Fusion, I think right now Konami is the right time to ban this card. You don't want people to be like, trust me, like the Yu-Gi-Oh community is loud. Okay, they literally email Konami like paragraphs like, why are you allowing this card to be legal? Instant Fusion is a sacky one-off, and it's not even gonna be a one-off anymore, like I'm saying. So Instant Fusion, correct time, Konami. Please Konami, if you don't do this, like, I don't even know what you're thinking anymore, honestly. So I think Instant Fusion needs to be banned. Next card on the chopping block, I think it's gonna be Havness. This is the last card in tier limit that I'm touching. Havness, I think, is the problem card in tier limit Ishizu for a couple of reasons. First reason is the clear one, right? It allows you to play during the opponent's turn, which means that Even if you lose the die roll, you get to play, right? And since most of your deck triggers when they get milled from Halfness, you benefit a lot from Halfness. And trust me, like, Tearlament is not that good at breaking boards. Like, they're decent at breaking boards, but they're not the best at breaking boards. Like, they usually cannot beat over a Sprite board. Like, if they set up like Double Toad plus like the Trap Card or Smasher plus like an Elf and like 1 or 2 hand traps, they cannot break that board. Like, they're not that good at breaking boards, right? They're really not that good. The problem comes when they get to play during your turn, which gives them a little bit of advantage before it even gets to them. That's when it gets problematic. So I think Halfness getting banned means that when they lose the die roll, they're not gonna get any advantage during the opponent's turn. So yeah, being able to play during the opponent's turn is the first reason. The second reason is that it cuts one of their fusions. So instead of them having 3 fusions, which is Sharon, Halfness, and Meryl, now they only have 2. So that's like a huge cut. Like, they go from 3 fusions per turn to 2, plus not being able to trigger those during the opponent's turn. I know they're gonna get the new Tearlament Kastira one, but yeah, I think like Halfness, like right now, is the correct time to ban it before the new one comes out, the new Kastira Tearlament. Yeah, so those 2 reasons. 1, it allows them to play during the opponent's turn, and 2, like it's a fusion that they're gonna be cut from like permanently. So that means that now if the opponent opens something like a Bestial or a Diddy Crow or a Meister, they get hurt even more because they only have 2 fusions per turn. So I think cutting Halfness is the correct place, the correct thing to do. So I think that will slow them down a lot. Like, I played Tearlaments like in multiple tournaments, like online and in person, and trust me, like, Tearlaments is not that good at breaking boards. What helps them break boards is Halfness during the opponent's turn, Halfness during your turn. But without that, they're gonna be cut a lot of resources. So Halfness is the card. I don't think people are saying limit this card. I'm like, why? Like, so that you're playing against Tearlaments, they open Halfness, and now you just like start complaining. You're like, oh, you sacked me. You opened the 1-off. Like, well, you wanted it to get limited, so like, why are you complaining, right? You can't complain about that. Like, how about they don't open the 1-off? How about they just don't have it at all, right? So Halfness, I think, has to go. And the last card that I think has to be banned will be the Windbearer statue. The Flounder's board is not that hard to break without the Windbearer statue. The fact that you can just summon your monsters in defense position to play around the M-Pen helps out a lot. So the Windbearer statue is like the clear issue here. Like, it's a searchable floodgate that they can either set up during their turn or your turn. So without the Windbearer statue, I think their win rate is gonna drop significantly. If you don't know, Flounderies actually made it to the finals of this YCS that just happened right now. They've made it to like almost every single YCS final ever since they've been meta, and I think it's kind of crazy. But I think the main offender is the Windbearer statue. I don't think Shifter, I don't think Map, I don't think any of those cards will hurt this deck as much as banning Windbearer statue will do. So yeah, that will wrap up my video for my ban list predictions for February. So I want you guys to leave your thoughts and comments on the comments below. But as always, guys, this was Yara here, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.